Thanks for listening to the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast, where each week we talk about a free piece or two of technology you can use in your classroom. I'm your host, Shannon Martin. I'm a middle school teacher, technology, and instructional coach for my district.
And I'm her husband and periodically her producer, Fuzz Martin.
That was pretty good.
Thanks.
Guess what? It's a science episode.
What? You don't say. Science.
So we're at episode 109.
Yes.
It's so fun because we're like over 100 now. And yeah, it's an end of semester for a lot of schools, or like coming up an end of semester, and it's freezing cold January here in good old Wisconsin.
Lots of kids turning in grades asking if you can
extensions and makeups.
Yep.
Yeah, that's happening. Yeah, but that means we're like halfway through the school year too, which is so funny. I was talking to some of my coworkers at lunch the other day. I'm like, guys, it's semester. Like, it means we're halfway through the school year. And then we all kind of look at each other and we're like, yeah, we're halfway through the school year. And to me, the first half always goes super fast, like a blink of an eye, and then the second half, not even the whole second half, like third quarter is like a little painful. But
I'm sure it's like that everywhere, but because we live in the north where it's 11 degrees outside and you can't go
with
outside.
a -3 wind chill.
Right. And it's hard to go out and like do anything.
Yeah.
I wonder if that contributes to the second half of the year being so slow.
Yeah. And I think too, we've actually talked about this. There's a lot of analysis by my coworkers as to why this takes so long. But you always think about like September, school start, boom. October, so fun.
Yeah.
November, 4-day, 5-day weekend. December, week off.
Yeah.
January, start with a week off. And then you have nothing until the last
February's
week.
the shortest month, but
you have nothing until the last
for.
week of March.
Yeah.
So you have all of January, all of February, most of March.
Yep.
And there's a lot of indoor recess during that time.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. I can see that for sure.
So, but yeah.
I mean, it's long for me too, and I'm not even a teacher or a
we
student.
need some sunshine.
Yeah, I do.
But yes,
We all do.
so anyway, as we digress, we're talking about science today.
Science.
This science episode kind of is a shout out to the middle school, high school science staff that at this point, our high school staff especially, it's like, okay, semester's over. We're prepping for AP exams.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's like extra vocab boosts and all these kinds of things.
Sure.
So the site I'm sharing with you today, actually there's two sites, one's just kind of for fun, is a great resource for all science teachers, middle school, high school, but especially those who teach AP. There are some extra practice videos and stuff here for that.
Sure.
So it's called Bozeman Science.
Bozeman Science.
So it's BOZEMAN Science, SCINCE.
Yes.
.com. And there's a frog sitting on a cell phone. On the website.
Man, first the kids, now the frogs.
What are we gonna do? So this resource, as you were like investigating the guy who's in charge of all of
Anderson,
this.
yes.
So he is kind of a consultant, but has put together a very large collection of video resources for science teachers, from like anatomy and phys to AP bio and AP chemistry, and it covers all that stuff, earth science, and then stuff that aligns with next generation science standards. So what's cool is he's got his collection of videos all organized by science topic. And then if you're on his website, you go through NGSS, so next generation science standards. Underneath there, then it's kind of cool because there's all kinds of resources specific to standards. So I know a lot of us like standards-based grading or projects and stuff, but they have like, he has free posters in there that you can put in your classroom that, you know, encourages different types of questioning skills. And there are like 3D playing card resources, and there are graphic organizers for math and computational thinking, and all kinds of like really cool free teacher resources for science. So even like explaining cause and effect, which I feel like is an ongoing like struggle not a struggle, but it's just when you got to explain your cause and you got to have actual like data to back it up and things like that. It takes practice, but there's all kinds of cool resources here. Again, there's a collection of videos and they're all like labeled and organized, but then also like scale and proportion. Like there's a lot of science things that tie in, and the organizers are very clear and easy to use in your classroom, which is nice. They're just printable and they're basic enough that you could use them with any content area that you want to put them into, which is really great.
Yep.
And then there's even like an inquiry lab form, just like some formats and things like that you can use in your classroom or base and kind of gather ideas and things like that, which is really nice. So between the videos and all the topics, like you can go like right now, I know our science teacher is doing earth science right now.
Sure.
Looking up matter, and then you can go through and learn about atoms and molecules and things like that. So, yeah, there's just it's a huge collection of science teacher resources, and from middle school to high school, and then specifically videos for AP exam practice and review. It's kind of nice because you have it all in one place and it's easy to find and well organized for our science teachers.
Yeah, see, when you go in, like I'm looking at an article on natural selection, and he's got a whole video that he narrates and illustrates on natural selection. And then he also has a concept map and a slideshow that you can use, as well as some other resources from other people, and then some different videos as well. So
in certain science topics, he has more videos down there. Like if you click on biology, there's a unit introduction, then there's chemistry of life, and then the unit on cells, and then on the unit of cells, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, probably like 15. 30 videos or more on different types of cells, and then gives you related links on top of that. And again, genetics, evolution, plants, ecology. So you just pick and choose your topics once you get into the broad, like click a broad topic, and then you will find more topics within there for resources. And there is a gajillion of them.
He has more than 109 episodes of these videos.
Yes, he does. So science teachers, if you were looking for some support and some organizers and some teacher resources, it is very well organized and it is aligned with the standards, which is always very helpful.
Yeah.
And he's a consultant that you can follow on Twitter too if you want to.
Very good.
So yes, Bozeman
Paul Anderson
Science,
Paul Anderson with an E at the end. When you spell Anderson, that's his Twitter handle.
Yeah. So check out that. And again, there's a huge amount of resources. So
also, I feel like you picked this because this all lines up really well with the AP stuff, but also we've been watching Yellowstone on
Peacock, and he's out of Montana.
So that all lines up perfectly.
Right. This has nothing to do with that.
No,
you just happened to make that connection about a minute ago. Yes. So that's our main science teachery resource. Check it out. Videos, links, organizers. It's fantastic.
Yes. BozemanScience.com.
So the other one is just awesome.
It is cool. It is very cool.
So it's like the website's been around for a while, clearly.
It looks like it was built to start the internet. 1996, it says right here.
There you go.
Yep. So yes, pretty close to the start of the internet.
Yes, it's amazing. So the website is clearly it's been made by some professors. The site itself is uky.edu /projects with a capital P
and
/chemcomics with a capital C.
Yes.
/index.html.
So yeah, so
I'm
obviously
just gonna link this into my website.
If you just go to uky.edu /projects/chemcomics,
you should be fine.
It'll get you there. You don't need the index.html, but we'll link to it in the show notes. So if you're listening on Apple, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, if you're listening on Spotify, if you just click on the description, there will be a link there that you can click to this. And you're going to want to click to it because even though we're talking about it being old,
It's so cool.
It's super cool.
So it's the periodic table of comic books. And what they have done is taken the periodic table and they have found the different elements in old school comic pages.
Yes.
So, like it says, we recommend you start with oxygen. So you click on oxygen, and then you will find old school, and they're even like Ricky Nelson, number 998, June through August of 1959, page 27. Like it tells you where in the old comic that you will find the element referred to in the comic page. It is so cool. And it's so nerdy and it's so fantastic.
And it doesn't give you the whole comic book.
It's just the page, but it is like a clear version of the page. So, like, I want to find iodine. So if I click on iodine, it was used in Walt Disney's The Best of Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck, 1954, page 29, and you click on it. The page is beautifully scanned in, and look, there you have it. They use the word iodine.
Yes.
It is so cool.
I'm looking at Americium, which was only one issue of a comic book, believe it or not, since, well, it's Americium. And very seldom talked about.
See, Helium Thor, number 115, September 1965.
Wow, yes. So, no, that's a lot of...
So, if you were kind of nerdy, welcome to the club.
And if you're very nerdy...
This is such
Thanks
a cool way.
Thanks for allowing us into your home.
Right. It's so cool. Like, it's just... What a neat find. Like, totally unexpected. And if you're teaching periodic table... you've got some kids I don't get it. There's puzzles, there's all kinds of cool interactive things. Yeah. But it's kind of like a step back in time, but yet also like what a cool way for kids to remember then, like the different elements, because it's not your typical what you normally would find with the elements. Anyway.
Yeah, a lot of comics for the Metal Men comic book series, which I was unfamiliar with until just now.
There you
go. Which is a DC comic. Yeah, DC comic. There you go. But I can see why, though, because they're talking about all these different chemicals.
Yeah, and it's really cool. So if you're a science teacher, or if you teach the periodic table, or if you're kind of like an old school comic book kind of person, or just want to see something kind of really creative and put together, the periodic table of comic books is kind of fun.
Good. I think it'd be a good icebreaker for the beginning of like if you're a science teacher and you're talking about an element for the day, like breaking that down.
And also the kids will be like, oh, were you alive then in 1954?
Yes. Yeah, no, my mom wasn't even born yet.
Right.
Kid. But thanks.
But yeah.
But she was close.
So check it out, though. Anyway, a little fun for our science teachers today.
So again, we'll link to that in the show notes.
Both will be linked into the show notes, but especially the second one because it's a little trickier.
Exactly.
Funsies.
All
right. Well, thanks for tuning in.
Of course, anytime. I'm sorry. You were talking to me. You were talking to our audience.
This has been the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast. If you ever have any questions, you can find me on Twitter at SmartinWI. And if you want to get more information on the links to the technology discussed in this episode, visit smartinwi.com. If you'd like to support the show, please consider buying me a coffee or two. Visit buymeacoffee.com/SmartinWI, or you can visit smartinwi.com and click the cute little purple coffee cup. Your donations keep this show going. New episodes each week. Thanks for listening. Go educate and innovate.
The ideas and opinions expressed on this podcast and the Smart NWI website are those of the author, Shanna Martin, and not of her employer. Prior to using any of the technologies discussed on this podcast, please consult with your employer regulations. This podcast offers no guarantee that these tools will work for you as described, but we sure hope they do. Thanks for listening.